Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So about a month ago, I had a chat with the family whose visa was going to expire a few days to when we had a chat, and the husband's organization or company already sponsored, already promised to sponsor them. However, so this is what happened. The visa was going to expire on the 2nd of March 2025, and the organization said they could only issue the CRS for the skilled worker visa they won't be able to issue it until I think 15th of March, so about 2 weeks after their visa expired. So the visa is going to expire on the 2nd of March, and they can only get a new COS on the 15th of March. I mean, based on the company's admin issues and all of that. So they could only issue the visa 15th of March. Now what happens now is that if they should wait until their current visa expires on the 2nd of March, by the 15th they would have become overstayers, and there's possibility that their new visa application would definitely be rejected because they've been in the UK for longer than the validity of their visa. So the question is, what exactly did we do to kind of manage the situation for them to be able to, to stay in the UK legally while waiting for the COS that will be coming 2 weeks after their current visa is going to expire. So if you're currently in the UK and your visa is expiring soon, the organization is promising you, sponsorship, and it doesn't look like it's going to come before your current visa expires, then you definitely want to stick to this video till the end. And if you're coming across the channel for the first time, you have to hit on the subscribe button. On this channel, I share everything UK immigration, transition into tech, and lifestyle videos. So just stick with us, on this channel. And for my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hey guys, so when I spoke with this family on the 1st of March, and the current visa was going to expire on the 2nd, and the employer promised to provide the visa sponsorship or the certificate of sponsorship on the 15th of March, which was already 2 weeks, after the current visa was going to expire. So we had to kind of, jump a conversation with, an immigration lawyer to kind of see what we can do, because it's about, a day. I was even wondering why, it took them a whole day to when the visa was going to expire to kind of reach out. And, one of the things we did was, just a little bit of backstory about what exactly happened. So this person came into the UK as the main applicant, came for a 2-year master's program with with placements. So his 2-year master's program was supposed to run 1 year in class, 1 year placement. So while he was doing this placement, he got an opportunity to work with an organization that, I mean, because of the quality of work he was doing with them, how much of an asset he was to the organization. I think about 4 months into the placement, they were already having conversation about, oh, we're going to sponsor you, and we're going to submit the request to the management, get the funding, yada yada, and all of that. So now what happened was, so the organization, they were a bit reluctant, a lot of approvals that needed to be gotten before they could eventually go forward to sponsoring. So eventually they got the approval, and they submit their application to get licensed to sponsor to the Home Office. Now this took like a couple of weeks for this to come out and all of that. So now what happened was that because of the whole issue that came up with the whole approval, getting their license, their sponsorship license from the Home Office sorted, they couldn't provide the sponsorship until I think 15th of March, and this was only 2 weeks after the guy's visa was going to expire. So being on the student visa, they had 2 options. I mean, I think that was why they were a bit reluctant to kind of reach out, because they knew they had the option of still switching to the post-study work visa. Their family of 5, so they had the option of switching to the post-study work visa. And if the whole sponsorship didn't really work out, but it was going to be a lot of stress for them in that regard. So what we did was that now, instead of spending so much time going through the post-study work visa route, and then a month into the post-study visa route, they would then go back and then apply for the skilled worker visa. So what we did differently at that particular time was that, so we knew that applying for, so there are a couple of visas in the UK that you can actually extend. One of them is the student visa, and so what we did was we decided to kind of apply for an extension on the student visa, which ideally, I mean, if finished the program successfully, there was really no need for extension. So we knew that the application was going to be rejected, but the whole idea was just to kind of buy time in order for them to just get on the skilled worker visa immediately, instead of going through the post-study route and then still going back to the skilled worker visa. Now, it took the Home Office about 3 weeks to get back, and they rejected the application. But by the time the application was rejected, the COS was already available, and that was used to then apply for the skilled worker visa. So that scenario can actually work perfectly for someone who is currently on a student visa. You can probably just choose to extend your visa, and there's possibility that the application will be rejected. But before you do so, please ensure that you have a legal document or a written confirmation from your employer that they will be providing the COS at a particular date. Because if they give you word of mouth and that didn't happen and you get your student visa extension rejected, then it's definitely going to affect you in a way, because the Home Office will give you ultimatum on when to leave the country, and that might not really be a good thing for you on the long run. So make sure you have written documents or legal documents from your employer saying that we're going to give you the COS this particular date and it's not going to fail. Then they can apply. Now, this might not be applicable for someone who is currently on the post-study work visa and the visa is going to expire soon. Now, trust me, we had a scenario like that also a couple of months back, whereby the person's student visa was post-study visa was going to expire. I think the employer promised that the visa sponsorship can only be provided, I think, 1 month after the current visa was going to expire, because of also their whole admin issues and how long it took. I mean, it took them longer time to respond to the Home Office on the additional document they were accessing. So it was a lot of stuff that was beyond the applicant's control. So what happened was, in that scenario, so this person worked with the organization throughout the 2 years post study. There were a lot of back and forth on sponsorship, and because of how valuable she was also to the organization, I mean, luckily for her, she's single, and so she wasn't really bothered about thinking of dependent and all of that. So a backup plan was she was going to eventually go for the health and care visa if the company did eventually sponsor. So, but towards the end of our post-study visa, there was a very good green light from the organization saying that don't worry, we're going to sponsor. We have the license. We're going to get the license at a particular date. Our lawyer is working with the Home Office to ensure this is provided because they don't want to lose because of how valuable she was. So, but the post-study visa was going to expire. What exactly was she going to do if it expires and she didn't get, or she didn't put in an application with the Home Office? Now, what we did was that, so by the time the post-study visa was going to expire, I think obviously she couldn't work with the organization immediately. It was going to expire. So what we did was that we applied for a global talent visa. Now, even though we knew that, I mean, she probably didn't qualify for all of the requirements for the global talent visa, we did apply anyway. We were able to get an endorsement from because she has experience in research. She should be a lecturer back in our country. So we just we packaged the whole global talent visa application, knowing that there's high possibility of that application being rejected, and this is basically just to kind of help her buy time. So we push out the application, and the cool thing is that when you have an existing application with the Home Office, you're allowed to work. Yes. So if you go and check your share code, it's going to be written there that this person has a pending application with the Home Office, and a share code will be provided for you to provide to your employer or your landlord as your right to live and work in the UK. So what we did, we pushed out the application for the global talent visa. I think she was given about 2 weeks to provide like a particular document requested by the endorsing body. So 2 weeks was we were able to buy 2 weeks. So about a day before the 2 weeks expires, we provided a letter the endorsing body was asking for, and we waited another 4 weeks until they made a decision. So by the time they made the decision, 6 weeks after we pushed in the application, that they won't be able to endorse her. On the 4th week, the employer already provided the COS. So when they rejected the endorsement, immediately we applied for the skilled worker visa. So this was a way for us to kind of buy time, basically, just to stay back in the country, still continue working while waiting for the employer to provide sponsorship. As I said, now this is only going to work out if you're 100% sure that your employer will be giving you a license, because the moment the endorsing body rejected the application, the Home Office immediately also rejected the visa application, and she was given about, I think ideally it used to be 60 days, but for some weird reason, I think she was given just about 14 days to leave the country. And luckily for us, we already had the COS available, and we used that to apply for this skilled worker visa, and she was able to get on the visa without any hassle. It was approved, and she started working with the employer fully as a skilled worker, not as someone on the post-study work visa. So yeah, so if your visa is expiring very soon, there are different ways on you being able to kind of buy time to stick on the job while still waiting for certain documents or your certificate of sponsorship. Now another example was someone whose visa was going to expire, and about 2 months before the visa was going to expire, she already secured an employment with with a care organization that provided her a COS. So while still dragging the whole application, she was waiting for her employer to provide her sponsorship, which they didn't eventually provide the sponsorship. So what we did was just go ahead with the health and care visa, and now she's currently on the health and care visa. So yeah, there are different ways you can actually buy time when it comes to like waiting for your current employer to provide the certificate of sponsorship they promised even if your visa is going to expire before this will be provided. So yeah, you can always take any question you have around this in the comment section. And if you're coming across the channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button. My returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. So this will be the end of this video. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.